Pakistan has launched 6 satellites in 16 months. Should India be concerned? For decades, the India-Pakistan rivalry was fought on land, in the air, and occasionally at sea. Today, a new battlefield has emerged: space. According to recent reports, Pakistan has launched 6 Earth observation satellites in just 16 months. That number may not sound dramatic at first, but when viewed in context, it represents one of the fastest expansions of Pakistan's space-based surveillance capabilities in its history. The obvious question is this: why is Pakistan suddenly investing so heavily in satellites? And more importantly, what does it mean for India? Officially, Pakistan says these satellites are meant for civilian purposes: agriculture, disaster management, urban planning, environmental monitoring, and resource management. These are the standard explanations every country gives when launching Earth observation satellites. But the reality is that modern Earth observation satellites are dual-use assets. The same satellite that can monitor crop patterns can also track troop movements. The same imaging system that can help during floods can also monitor military installations. The same technology that maps forests can also identify infrastructure projects, logistics routes, and strategic deployments. In today's world, there is often only a thin line separating civilian observation from military intelligence. What makes this development particularly significant is that most of these satellites have been placed in sun-synchronous orbits. This allows them to pass over the same locations repeatedly under similar lighting conditions, making them highly effective for surveillance and long-term monitoring. The second factor is China's role. Many of Pakistan's recent satellite launches have relied heavily on Chinese launch facilities, Chinese technology support, and broader cooperation between the two countries. Analysts increasingly view Pakistan's growing satellite network as part of a larger strategic partnership between Islamabad and Beijing. This changes the conversation. India is no longer looking at Pakistan's space capabilities in isolation. It is looking at a surveillance architecture that benefits from Chinese expertise, Chinese launch infrastructure, and potentially Chinese strategic interests. For India, this raises an obvious concern. Can these satellites be used to monitor military activity along the line of control, the international border, or critical strategic assets across the country? The answer is yes. Modern satellites can provide valuable intelligence. They can observe infrastructure development, troop concentrations, logistics corridors, air bases, missile sites, and naval activity. However, there is another side to this story. India is not standing still. In fact, India remains significantly ahead in terms of indigenous space capability, launch infrastructure, satellite manufacturing, and military space assets. Just days ago, reports emerged that India is moving ahead with an ambitious 52 satellite surveillance network under its space-based surveillance program. The objective is straightforward: continuous monitoring of potential threats from both China and Pakistan. In other words, both countries are now investing heavily in what military strategists call persistent surveillance. The ability to watch, track, and analyze developments in near real time. And this is becoming one of the defining features of modern warfare. The wars of the future may not begin with tanks crossing borders. They may begin with satellites observing movement weeks in advance. They may begin with data, with artificial intelligence, with imagery, with intelligence gathering from hundreds of kilometers above the Earth. This is why military planners increasingly say that whoever controls information gains a major advantage even before the first shot is fired. So should Indians be worried? Concerned? Yes. Alarmed? Not necessarily. Pakistan's satellite program deserves close attention. It reflects a deliberate effort to improve surveillance capabilities and strategic awareness, but it also reflects a larger reality. South Asia is entering a new phase of competition, a competition that extends beyond borders and into space. The important point is that India has recognized this shift and is responding with investments of its own. The real story, therefore, is not simply that Pakistan has launched 6 satellites. The real story is that the India-Pakistan rivalry is no longer confined to the ground. It has moved into orbit, and in the years ahead, the sky above us may become just as important as the land beneath our feet. What do you think? Is the future of national security increasingly being decided in space rather than on traditional battlefields? That's all. If you value independent journalism, do subscribe and support HW News English.